Hey there, welcome to the Impatient Entrepreneur Podcast, a show where we hear from entrepreneurs and business owners who are chomping at the bit to make their mark on the world. I'm your host, Lauren Quidar-Cockrell. Now, let's hurry up and get to the good stuff. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am so excited today. I have a friend and wonderful colleague, Alex Klinedinst, who is the CEO of Bluebird Creative, and she is a fantastic person to know. You might be wondering why I'm having another marketing professional on my podcast, and that's because we believe in collaboration, and we believe in community, and we believe in specializing in our unique skill sets and talents, and Alex and I have done a lot of really cool projects together, and as soon as I started this podcast, she was a no-brainer invite. So Alex, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Happy to be here. And Lauren's right. We're all about collaboration, and it's been really great to work with her and fill in holes in our team skill set and vice versa. So it's been great to get to know her and do some really cool projects together. I own a business called Bluebird Creative. We're a group of business-minded creatives with an empathetic and results-driven approach to marketing. We really pride ourselves on honest, simple, and nimble marketing. Honest meaning we treat your business like our own. Simple is we try to package all of your marketing tactics in an understandable and explainable way. And nimble because even though marketing is a pre-planned activity, there are always last-minute things that pop up. So we're based in Fort Worth, Texas, and we work with a variety of brands. And that's a little bit about who we are.
Beautifully stated. I love that. Okay, so first things first, Alex, are you an impatient entrepreneur?
Yes. So I am a third generation entrepreneur, and I've watched family businesses throughout my life in the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And what I've realized is that entrepreneurs are inherently impatient. And I think it's because we invest all of our time, all of our energy, and financial risk into an idea or a product. And we have this vision for the future that we simply will not stop until we reach that vision and we realize that vision. And as a result, we live in this constant state of discomfort where we're waiting to have that vision come to life, waiting for that project to become a reality. So we're just inherently impatient. And so, for me personally, I've got 5-10-year goals for Bluebird, and I want them to happen now. It just takes time. And dedication. So for me, I would say my impatience looks like drive. It looks like Saturdays sitting on the couch while my daughter naps, answering emails. It looks like evenings, happy hours missed with friends, working on vacation. Drive for me is my impatience to get to where I'm going.
And can you tell us about your team now? Like, what are y'all specializing in? What's sort of your ideal customer avatar? What does your business look like now versus what it looked like when you started? Because we started around the same time, maybe not day dot the same day, but really close birthing period.
Yes, about 5 years ago, our businesses were born around the same time.
Yes.
Just being from an entrepreneurial family, working, I often worked with and saw presidents, C-suites, ops directors who really kind of viewed marketing as this thing that's full of fairy dust, and it's just expense. And I realized that marketing had a really bad rep, and it didn't have to be that way. And gone are the days, the Don Draper days, where you'd sit around a boardroom and come up with the quippy headline and a really cool ad, and you just hope that it would work. And you really had no data to back it up and say, yes, this works. This is contributing to sales, and this is really good ROI for your investment. So we really had to become strategic in the last 15, 20 years. So when I founded Bluebird, it was out of that need in the DFW area for a honest, simple, nimble marketing solution. Truthfully, it was where are the clients? They may have been in business for 2 years. They may have been in business for 70 years, but they're looking for a marketing partner that can speak to them on a level that understands them and they understand us, that is pre-planned, but they know that it's, there are those last minute things, and that's looking for a relationship. We often work with companies. We specialize more in B2B, and we work with companies that are really looking for a fractional marketing partner. So we typically work with companies and say, and they may have an internal marketing team of one or two, but it's mostly we're doing the social media management, we're doing the paid digital, we're doing the graphic design, we're planning their marketing strategy and executing the marketing strategy for them on their behalf, and really we become an extension of their team.
And I remember, when we both started out, we were solopreneurs, but then I've grown teams. You have, I saw on LinkedIn today, you're hiring someone else, so you're blowing and growing over there.
Yes, we're a team of 5, soon to be 6. So we've really grown in our graphic design and content departments. So and after this hire, I'm sure towards the end of the year, we're going to be looking for the paid digital side support there. But yeah, when I started, it was me and my dog. I guess if you include him, Jax, he really makes our 7th employee. Longest tenured and most loyal, that's for sure. But it was just me.
And maybe arguably cutest.
Exactly. Arguably the cutest. He just loves going around the office and getting treats and sleeping in people's laps. It's great. It's great stressful around here.
Yes, exactly.
But when I started, it was just me, and I really had this vision for a holistic marketing company that was able to meet those needs. And I really didn't assign a number of employees or a size of business to it. I just had a vision of, I really would like to provide this service to initially it was just Fort Worth community, but we do have clients outside of Fort Worth now. And I've always worked towards that vision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from the sidelines, I've watched you really become a powerhouse, and it's a thrill for me to watch another woman succeed, and I love cheering you on and getting to work with you when the time's right. Yeah. So how do you fuel yourself up? How do you feel that drive? Do you listen to audiobooks, podcasts? Do you read? What kind of things keep you on the leading edge of your industry?
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, it is super easy to reach that stage of burnout. And I think personally, before I had my daughter, I was a professed workaholic, and you'd find me working pretty much 24/7 on something, tweaking a campaign, working on a proposal, answering emails, what have you. And so I have experienced burnout in my career and in my entrepreneurial career for sure. And what I've kind of found is I have 2 buckets that I have to fill up. I have to fill up my personal bucket, which is time spent with family and friends. It is going to dinner with some friends of ours. It's going out to see my grandparents in Mineral Wells in the middle of nowhere because I just need to get out of the city. And that's what fills my personal bucket up. And then my professional bucket, it's filled up with, I love podcasts, and I love listening to business podcasts, creative podcasts. 2 of my favorites right now actually have been favorites for a long time. How I Built This is probably one of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
Guy Raz. It just gets me fired back up about the thrill of being an entrepreneur. Yep. And while a lot of the individuals that he interviews are product based, I'm able to easily translate that to a service environment. And it just reminds me of the thrill of being an entrepreneur and why I got into this in the first place. And then another one's Build a Better Agency. It's just great for fine-tuning things. As we've grown, I've had to really pay attention to culture and processes and systems, and it's a whole new, my day looks completely different than it did 5 years ago. Yeah. I'm not the one that is writing the caption for the social media posts anymore. I'm the one that's figuring out how to make sure we have checks and balances so that everything is seamless and the client receives an end product that's polished and streamlined. So those 2 really help fill my professional bucket. And then in our industry, as you know, we constantly have to be students of the industry. And so I am subscribed to a number of newsletters that I get in my inbox daily that just have daily news, daily conversations. This week it's Twitter to X and what Thread's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you constantly have to pay attention to what's going on. And I find that when they're delivered to me daily in my inbox, I read them instead of having to go out and search them.
Mm-hmm.
So those all fill up my professional bucket. But again, I have to fill up the personal bucket before I can do the professional bucket.
Right. And as a new parent, how has your life as an entrepreneur shifted? What looks different for you now?
Time management. It's just so different. It's so much harder to get to the office in the morning because you have now 2 individuals that you're preparing for the day.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, come 5 o'clock, you would find me, I used to say my best hours of the day were from 5 to 6:30 because no one was at the office. The phone wasn't ringing. I could bang out some emails. It was my most productive time of day. Now I've got to be home.
Yep.
So that time gets shifted to during the day. So it has really made me focus on who I give my time to, how I give my time, and how I structure my day. So it's rocked my world. And I can't say I have mastered it yet. She's only 5 months old, but we'll get there.
It's, as a driven person, I remember struggling very deeply with, I guess ego really is what it boils down to. It's like wanting to perform, wanting to do something I'm good at. With parenting, I don't know if I've done a good job for a while. I'll know when they're 30, like, how did this grand experiment go? And so really getting a lot of my jollies out of signed contracts, happy clients, all that. And so, it's tough for us type A folks, I'm speaking for myself, but, I'm in
the same boat.
To adjust and to soften. I would, if everyone's out of town, I'm working, I'm cranking out lead generators or whatever, but so I think if I did not have those personal boundaries, I would only be my business. So it's, I wish
absolutely.
I wish you luck.
I think that's, yes. And I think you said it beautifully. That's probably what has changed the most in the last 5 months is Alex has always been Bluebird. And in the last 5 years, Bluebird's kind of taken a life of its own. It's now not just me, it's a team, and there's a physical location, and it really is an organism that exists on its own. And I've worked really hard over the last year to make sure that if I do, example, maternity leave, if I do have to step away, the business survives without me. And it's really hard as someone like you or I to separate your personal identity from the business. And it's been a lesson in letting go and a lesson in redefinition. And like you said, a lesson in figuring out where you find joy. And I'm still working on it, but I've learned, it's the little things at home. When she smiles at me or when she rolls over, I'm like, yes, I'm winning as a parent, So it's different, but it's that separation of identity. That's probably the trickiest part.
Yeah. And being present then at home too is a challenge. For me, I've experienced that where, it's that 5 to 6:30 time. Well, at 5 o'clock, family's home and the emails are still kind of coming. And it's like, I got to set the phone down and be with my kids because they're, wanting to tell me about their day, and they're at an age where they want to talk to me. So trying to harness that while I can. I was going to ask you, I believe I remember the answer, but will you tell us how you came up with the name Bluebird Creative to begin with?
Yes. So my maiden name is Manson, not good associations. And my married name is Klinedinst, which is very hard to say. So I wanted a name. And also, this also stems from the How I Built This podcast. I was listening to the Bobby Brown episode years ago, and she talked about how she had to sell her business, which inevitably was selling her name. And she couldn't control the brand. She couldn't control the reputation. And unfortunately, the brand was her name. So I learned from that, I definitely don't want to name a business, no matter what it is, my name, because if and ever that happens, if I ever were to sell, I don't want to have to sell my name with it. So one day I was trying to figure out what to name this thing that had become had grown, and a bluebird landed on a branch outside, and it was the middle of October, which I thought was strange because it was kind of cold. And I thought, you know what, bluebird, it has great associations. When you're skiing, it's a bluebird day. Bluebirds are good signs from past loved ones. And I thought, that's memorable. I love the color blue. Let's roll with it. And it's funny because now people actually call me Bluebird instead of Alex. And I'm like, that's really funny. You think my mom named me Bluebird. Thanks. So it's worked in my favor.
Yeah, I love that. And I am a recent amateur aviary, I guess. What's the word? Enthusiast.
Yes.
So I've always really liked your business name, and liked how you didn't use your name like I did, my maiden name. And but I mean, I love my business name and my maiden name for lots of reasons. But I think having a great business name that's not your name is a feat. And I think you nailed it.
Well, thank you.
So what's the team working on creating right now? What are you excited about to, products, services, kind of what's next for you?
Yeah. This year has been a year of infrastructure. We tripled agency size last year. And with that we saw a lot of need for increased communication, increased processes, increased workflows. So we've really set goals on making sure that our task management system is up to date. Our client onboarding is streamlined. Communication with clients is streamlined. So we have a lot of workflows that we're working on currently to help just increase operations, decrease time spent, increase profit. So we've been working on that. We also had quarterly goals. Quarter one was we wanted to become a certified women's business enterprise through WeBank, and we accomplished that.
Congrats.
And
it's a big task. If you don't know, it's a big task.
For sure. It's a lot of paperwork. And Q2 was to be able to offer benefits, which we were able to accomplish. And Q3 is, again, working on those processes and systems to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, because with growth comes a need for organization.
1,000%. And doing it at this juncture is better than when you're 3 times the size you are, which is when a lot of people finally embark on it.
Exactly.
What are there any particular cultural aspects that you have created either by yourself or by committee that make Bluebird who it really is that you're particularly proud of?
Great question. We live by the mantra of work hard, play hard. Mm-hmm. And I think that comes from the principles of entrepreneurship, mm-hmm. because that's all I ever really know. So all of our employees, when they show up here, we're a team. And if someone's out, we're stepping in to help fill that void. And we assume, even though your role might be this, you know that you're going to help your teammate out. So I think it breeds this environment of teamwork and pride in everything that we do. So, and we're at the size too, where everybody's working on the same project together. You've got graphics working on the same thing that social's working on, and everybody knows what's going on with the client. So when we do see a client win, it's so much more gratifying for the whole team. So it's a good team, hard work, but we also like to go have fun.
Nice. What are you most impatient about right now?
Probably our processes and systems. I
hear it.
We've been working on them for a couple months now, and it's now we're now at the point of rolling them out. So it's getting clients used to it, getting our team used to it, making sure it doesn't slow down our efficiency. And so it's a hurdle that's looming in front of us now that they're all ironed out, that I'm impatient, anxious, and excited all in the same token to roll out and get going.
Yeah. We are shoring up some processes ourselves right now. Also, operational excellence, automation. Also, it's like if it doesn't require heavy lifting, let's not expend that effort. How can we use automation to our benefit? And then we're actually switching our project management software right now to hopefully give us some more flexibility and things. But I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm ready for that baby to be born.
Yeah, that's a lift.
So have you experienced anything in your professional life that, when it happened, you're thinking this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm never going to recover from this. I cannot believe this has happened. But then ultimately, with hopefully an abundance mindset, turned out to be maybe the best thing.
I think I'm going to go with the obvious answer here, and that we both endured and survived the year of 2020.
Yep.
And it was, I remember the day, and I don't do PR. So I'm going to preface it with this. I remember the day, it was March 17th, 2020. Mm-hmm. I got a call from a client, and they unfortunately had to close all of their locations. They had 6 locations across the state, and I had no time. I had no time to reach out to you. I had no time we have to close, write a statement right now. And from that point until probably January 2021 is all a blur.
Yeah.
In the best of ways, though, because in that time frame, I think there were winners and losers during that time frame. And I think our industry, there was a huge win, because everybody realized that the only way to reach their target customers now is digital. And we had tons of new clients on board. We had existing clients deepen their relationship because they realized, I don't have in person anymore. I can't go, especially sales teams. So we did a ton of rebrands, ton of email automation journeys, tons of website redesigns, because they realized they weren't efficient for reaching their target audience. And it was a really great year for us, stressful, but we have not looked back. It's been a banner year. It's not, up until last year, it was our best year financially to date. Yeah. And also, outside, in the spirit of being a serial entrepreneur, I just growing up in a entrepreneurial family, I've always heard buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. That's all that's been, as far as real estate and buying and selling companies. So, and part of it was a product that my husband moved home, and we cannot work in the same space. We've just decided. But I actually moved into and purchased an office space during that time. And what better time than when everybody's moving home to buy commercial office space? Yeah. So it was a great opportunity to do that. And so now I've kind of got a real estate bug and a marketing agency.
Good for you.
Bug.
I didn't realize you had purchased that building. That's exciting.
Yeah. It was like I said, opportune time to be able to do that.
I've thought about that a few times. We're all remote. We've got team members around the country and things like that. So it makes the most sense for right now. But I do love office life, but I'm also a homebody. So it's, it's like a hybrid environment, maybe one day again. But we're just playing it as it lays right now for sure. 2020 is a blur. Yes. But I think clients who had good partners like us and who listened and followed advice, like they're all doing great now. So, I think we all learned a lot about ourselves, the human spirit. I'm always impressed, thinking in terms of how we just figure stuff out, the people who show up and work hard and just trust themselves. I love seeing those people overcome the odds. Is there something growing up where maybe you heard as a criticism, or people would say, oh, you're too sensitive, or oh, you're too whatever, but now as a professional woman, you realize it's actually your superpower?
Yes. I have a great anecdote. So when I was a kid, I was competitive dance. I specialized in ballet, and I had a ballet teacher on my last day of class give me a note after I graduated, just wishing me well. And in the note, it was a great, send off. But at the end, it says, I hope that you have the opportunity to stop and smell the flowers every once in a while. Oh. And I thought, what an odd comment. But what she saw in me was dedication, drive. Whenever I love something, whenever I'm passionate about something, I am all in. I am steam train moving forward, and I don't do anything halfway. And it's not just her that's made that comment. It's plenty of people who, when Alex does something, it's not just halfway. It's like you're getting the whole cake with all the icing and, So, but I think that's a testament of the drive that it takes to build a business and the dedication and the discipline. And it's also a weakness still, you do have to you do have to stop and smell the flowers every once in a while. I mean, or else there is burnout. But it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I hear that. Does your husband act as sort of a counterbalance for you there, or are you both super driven and you really have to kind of figure out how to slow each other down?
We're both driven, unfortunately. He's better at stopping and smelling the flowers. He's better at saying, it's been a really crazy week. Let's just stay home, chill, and I think we need to go do this, or I think we need to go out to the lake for the weekend with some friends or family, because he fills up his tank the same way I do, with kind of retreating from city life and retreating from all the demands and just relaxing.
That's good. I'm glad he is that for you then.
Yes.
Do you have a piece of advice that our listeners can take home right now to make their lives and or businesses stronger and better?
Yeah, I think kind of going off physics, an object in motion is always going forward, right? And a business is the same way. If you're not progressing, if you're not actively making changes, it's stagnant, and stagnant is the death of business. So, and I've learned this from watching multiple generations of family members run businesses. If you get a moment where you're like, oh, I have everything under control, we feel great, nothing, everything's great, that is not good. You need to make a change, because there's something that's broken in your business. There's always new business to go out and get. And so that constant dissatisfaction or discomfort with, we need to continually improve, is a good thing. And it's not to say you can't recognize the moments and the milestones. It's we've achieved the milestone. Okay, now what's the next milestone? So constantly be improving and looking for ways to optimize and make your business better.
Yeah, I was at a class the other day, and I've been grappling with optimizing the business and what's enough, like what's ego, what's greed, what's serving the team and the clients, and just kind of having that philosophical conversation in my mind this year. And, I was sort of thinking, okay, well, maybe quote unquote is enough, and then at that point, I don't know what will happen, but we'll see. And, thinking long term, like what does exit look like and all that. And I heard this coach say, yeah, I mean, you might want to reach a certain point and stop, but once you stop, you die. It might not be a quick death, but there's, you can't just stay somewhere. There's nothing just stays. It's up or down ultimately. So I think that's good advice. You got to be doing something, improving something. It can margins be worked on? Can it be growth? Something in that, just like never stop moving, for sure.
Exactly. That aligns with the impatience, right? Like it's you're constantly uncomfortable and impatient with where you're at, and it's not a negative. I don't think. I think it's to our benefit.
Yeah. I have interviewed some folks who said they are not impatient. Personally, they are impatient, but with their business, I guess they recognize more patience. I don't know. I still love them. But the impatient people are my people, for sure.
Yes.
So where can people find you or connect with you, do business with you? Tell us the things.
Yeah, so anyone can check out our website. It's bluebirdcreativeco.com, and we're located in Fort Worth. Our office is in Fort Worth, so if you are local to the DFW area, happy to set up an in-person meeting, and we're ready to chat with anybody about their marketing needs. Maybe we can work on our next project together.
Yeah, we would love to.
Great.
I think we make a really wonderful professional collegial team. I think we see I feel like we really see our strengths as women and entrepreneurs and our skill sets, and so I always jump at the chance to get to work with you. So thank you, and thank you for coming on today. I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished in your business, seeing your little daughter now, and just sky's the limit for you and Bluebird.
I know. The amount of puns that are there are plentiful.
Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Impatient Entrepreneur. Love the podcast? Be sure to share it with a friend or colleague or give us a 5-star review on Apple. You can also chat with us on Instagram or Facebook at The Impatient Entrepreneur Pod. Want to star on a future episode? Head over to theimpatienttrepreneurpod.com to inquire. Thank you to the team at Quidar & Co. for believing in me and bringing this podcast to life. And thank you to Carson Childers for mixing and editing this episode. Can't wait to see you next time.